everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Anna Gibson, and today I would like to talk about my heroin addiction, my best friend Adrian, who passed in 2021, and my alcoholism, which occurred thereafter and caused me to OD, and it basically created the trajectory which led to my hitting rock bottom. So yeah, let's get to that. It's a long story, so I gotta try to think of how I'm going to, tell it in a cohesive way, so that I'm not spinning around in circles, and so that it's not all befuddled. So Adrian was an older guy who used to frequent the cafe where I worked at, and he was homeless because due to a house fire in which he lost everything. But I'm not gonna digress there, don't worry. There's just a lot, that I might even have to write down. But, I feel like I could connect to him on a very, very, just like spiritual, human, beautiful level. And, I guess you could say I loved him, not in a, not in that way, but, I thought he was the most beautiful person I had ever met, and we both loved art, and he would often encourage me in my art. Well, I would take him to bars where I'd buy him a drink, and then I would, insist that he tell me stories of his life, and they were very fascinating stories. But he was also a heroin addict, and well, it was not a healthy relationship in that regard, but he also kept me safe. And I wouldn't have quitted with or without him back then. I was, very stubborn into it, and I also no one else knew about it at that time, well, as far as I could tell. That's certainly not my family, but he was a beautiful soul and had gone into trouble with the heroin at a young age, just like me. That really, people need to stop being so judgmental, because anyone can become a heroin addict. Anyone. Heck, grandma could become a heroin addict. A baby can become a heroin addict. It all just depends on the situation. Right now, I thought about telling Adrian's story, but that is such a long story. I might have to save it for another video. But I also wanted to talk about what happened after he died and how I relapsed after that, because I'm afraid that right now, if I tell that story, I don't know, it might trigger or encourage people to, romanticize drug use. And honestly, all that was so short-lived, and there was nothing beautiful about it. If I were looking at myself doing that right now, I'd think I was crazy. But my friend Adrian didn't live a healthy life, and when he died, he had a variety of illnesses against him. He had like 2 or 3 different types of cancer, and eventually, when the doctors tried to operate on him, his lung collapsed, and he passed. And I couldn't take it. He was my best friend. I loved him with all my heart. I knew him for about 4 or 5 years, and when he died, at that time I had been a month clean from heroin, and I just relapsed full blown. And I drank, and if I wasn't doing heroin, I was drinking. And if I was drinking while I was on heroin, I would relapse. Well, one day, this was shortly after Adrian's death, I had drinking a whole 5th of whiskey the night before. And then first thing in the morning, I went over to the bar, to the usual bar where Adrian and I used to hang out. And I called my dealer, and I bought a hit, and I had my glass of whiskey. I hadn't even drinking that. Well, actually, no, I did drink it, but not the whole thing. I just remember leaving some of it on the table. But surprised that I even remember that. But I took my hit into the bathroom, into the restroom of the bar, and the bartender at that time happened to be my friend, and he noticed me going there. He knew the story about my friend Adrian and him dying, and he also knew that I was having troubles with drugs and stuff. At least he knew only a little bit from what I told him one time when we were going on a little date. And he noticed I was in there for like 20 minutes and couldn't get the door open, couldn't get me out, so called an ambulance, and I woke up in an ambulance truck. He said that they found me with a needle in my arm on the bathroom floor. All I can remember is that I was trying to take in small increments, knowing that my tolerance was higher, but at the same time I was also blackout, not blackout drunk, because it was in the morning. That night I had gotten blackout drunk on a 5th of whiskey, and then first thing I go over to get a hit. And I left the hospital just like that, like really early. I didn't want to stay there. And after that it's just sort of a blur, just me pretending that everything's okay when it's not, trying to hold on, drinking, and then relapsing into heroin. And I just kept doing heroin, and then I was drinking, and then I was trying to stop. And honestly, a lot of it is so muddied, but after a little while I stopped doing heroin, and then I started drinking for a while. And this is when I moved into a new apartment, and it was when I was all on my own. And when I lived at that apartment, I was very lonely. And it was granted in a pretty seedy part of town. Heck, my dealers knew where I lived, or one of them knew where I lived at least. put myself in so many dangerous situations with the alcohol, especially. Well, with both of them. Both the alcohol almost killed me faster and caused me to make a lot more stupid decisions outside a safe area. Like when I did heroin, usually I was with my friend, or I was at a safe person's house, which I can't really say whose house, or I was alone, but with alcohol. So I was so lonely in that apartment that I could not. I had too much ants in my pants. I could not sit still. So the moment I got home from work, at first I was on a roll of painting every single night, and then I had a drink, and I lost my phone, and it got stolen from me, and that, I thought I lost a lot of meaningful stuff from when I knew Adrian, and that sent me into depression. And I'm really a creature of habit. I set my own habits, and that was all thrown into chaos. And so I stopped doing that, and I just started drinking. And man, I have a few war stories. Like one time many times I walked down to this usual bar, the closest one to where I lived at the time, in that seedy old apartment. I mean, I liked the apartment a lot, but the location was kind of seedy. There were a couple times where I witnessed somebody getting beaten up. And one time it was a woman, and my gosh, I was so drugged up and drunk all the time back then that I would shout back at, I would start cussing at her abuser, which on one hand is like good for me for sticking up for her, but on the other hand, it was really stupid, and I could have gotten hurt very bad. Could have gotten way worse. So one time I went down to that bar, and the next morning I woke up, and of course it was a work day, and I woke up in a strange man's bed, and my entire face, like right here, my whole lip was all big and bloody, and I had this big scab right here, and it was all bleeding. I know, but I woke up just like with a very bloody face right there. It looked like I had just curb stomped myself, except that my teeth and everything were perfectly fine. How I managed to save my teeth in that situation, I have no idea. But I woke up in a strange man's bed, and honestly, I'll never really know exactly what happened. And that guy could be a liar for all I know. For all I know, he may have hit me or something may have happened when he tried to touch me or whatever. It's really hard for me to say exactly, but at that time he seemed like a nice person who was trying to keep me safe, and that's really all I can go on. I mean, I had met him before, and he seemed like a nice person who was just genuinely concerned, but at the same time, it was like he was extreme. He seemed very downtrodden when I told him that I wasn't interested in anything, and that I was just really drunk, and I was really sorry for making him think that we had anything. But that's the thing, when you're really drunk all the time and you do stupid things. And I didn't remember anything that I did or said the night before. But, you cause a lot of pain. I caused a lot of pain around me. That's what happens with alcohol. And, that's what can happen with alcohol. And it does. It doesn't make you or me, the alcoholic, a bad person. It just means that I don't know, that we can't drink as much or at all, because with me at least there's a genetic factor, and there are people in my family who should have never had a drink in the first place. One time I woke up to my own screaming in the middle of downtown, and I was wrapped up in a strange gray blanket at a gas station, and I woke up to my own screaming. Later I would find out from my forget, my counselor or my provider told me that could have very well been me in a state of alcohol-induced psychosis, which now that I've read about that, it all makes sense. That's definitely what I was experiencing. I could hardly remember anything but waking up from the from the screaming and wondering, why the heck am I screaming in the middle of downtown? Who gave me this blanket? Why am I here? Like 20-minute bus ride from my place. What the heck? So it was confusing and it was really scary. That's what drugs and alcohol do to you. Eventually they put you in that situation. I went from the honeymoon phase of just hanging out with my friend and making a lot of art to hell, pure hell, within the snap of a finger. It happens. It's insidious. It grabs you when you least expect it. All the ugly monsters start to come out, and you start to become one of them if you don't take any control of yourself. You just gotta get out and pursue life and something beautiful and bright, and you know it's there. I mean, I have a hard time relating to this aspect of my story because there were a few times where I was taken advantage of, and one time in particular hits deep because I got super drunk, blackout drunk, and I was taken advantage of. Just know that if that ever happens to any of you, it is not your fault, and it's not my fault. Man, I was a very troubled person, and he took advantage of me. That whoever he is. But that happened when I was constantly going to that bar, and well, I mean, this was a different bar that I'm thinking of. This was a little closer to home actually, but I could have gotten hurt. I could have been a killer, it could have been anyone. I feel lucky that I'm alive and that I was too blackout drunk to remember any of it, except for what I could see when I woke up. I did a lot of things I regret when I did heroin, but one of the things I regret the most is selling myself. I'll always regret that, and I don't know if I'll ever feel 100% safe. It's a really weird feeling. On one hand, part of me thinks that nothing bad's gonna happen, and the other part thinks, I put myself in a dangerous situation. Something bad could happen. But I sold my body a few times to get heroin. Yes, I did. few embarrassing things happened when I drank too, around my own family. I mean, my whole family has probably seen me naked. One time I was so blackout drunk that one of them saw me just Walter Whiting it around the house. And by that I don't mean I was wearing anything. It was like in the grocery store. But, not at the grocery store, it was at home. Yeah. All of these horrible incidents with alcohol and and ODing on heroin with alcohol and all this stuff occurred after my best friend died. And before he died, I lost my manager, who was also a friend of mine, and I lost another friend who was a couple years younger than me and who was also struggling with addiction. And in fact, when I was her friend, she was in sober living. We kind of went our separate ways when she started going around, just getting kicked out of sober living and stealing. And I guess she just went down a really dark path. And yeah, I guess there was a lot of darkness and death around me too. And when my best friend Adrian died, I couldn't take it. I could not cope with it. I mean, I OD'd at least 3 or 4 times, probably 4 times after Adrian died. It's only thanks to my family and my real friends, and by the grace of God, that I'm here right now, and that I'm alive, that I've got all my appendages intact, that I'm regaining my passions and my love for painting and drawing. And I haven't really been painting and drawing as much, but I don't necessarily have a space for it right here. And just, I've been working a lot, focusing a lot on these videos too. I've got real friends now. There are a lot of things to be grateful for. I've got real friends now who really care about me and who aren't just using me as either a business tool or a junkie friend. That's no longer who I am. And that was never me in the first place. But at one time, yes, I was a junkie. But now I've gotten my health considering. I mean, my arm veins are all beat up. And I have a pelvic ultrasound due to see if I can even have children, because I haven't had my period since in 4.5 years. But I don't know. I feel okay. I just wish I could stop smoking. And, I think I can. I've come this far, and it would suck to be, outdone by a cigarette after coming this far. But I'm grateful for that I've come this far and that I have Shando. I can enjoy things again. I'm starting to really enjoy things again. I have a Nintendo Switch now that I'm enjoying, and that's a lot of fun. I enjoy watching cartoons and being outdoors, reading, writing in my journal, and I really enjoy making videos, but it sure is hard. It sure is hard for someone like me. I know that if I keep going this way, in several years it should get a lot better. I have people who love me and care about me, and I haven't lost myself completely. In fact, I haven't really lost myself at all. Anyway, I just want for anyone who is struggling in my shoes to know, anyone who's dealing with heroin addiction or any drug addiction, I want for you to know that you can find yourself again. You can find enjoyment, you can find fulfillment, you can find peace, contentment, and joy in life. Sometimes it might take time and patience to regain all that, but it's there if you look for it, and there if you give it time. Heck, it might take years, but it's all worth it in the end. You have to believe that you can live again without heroin, without anything to numb your head and keep you from being able to cope with reality. Anyway, I hope I'm not rambling. Sometimes it's just kind of hard to, Anyway, I'll call that the end of this video, aka my war stories. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Take care.